13. In the 18th year of the reign of Jeroboam, Abijah became king of Judah, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 years. His mother's name was Maachah, a daughter of Uriah of Gibeah. There was war between Abijah and Jeroboam. Abijah went into battle with a force of 400,000 able fighting men, and Jeroboam drew up a battle line against him with 800,000 able troops. Abijah stood on Mount Jeroboam in the hills country of Ephraim and said, Jeroboam and all Israel, listen to me. Don't you know that the Lord, the God of Israel, has given the kingship of Israel to David and his descendants forever by a convenient of salt? Yet Jeroboam son of Nebat, an officer of Solomon, son of David, rebelled against his masters. Some wordless scoundrels gathered around him and opposed to Rehoboam, son of Solomon, when he was young and indecisive and not strong enough to resist them. And now you plan to resist the kingdom of the Lord, which is the hand of David's descendants. You are indeed the best army, and have with you the golden calves that Jeroboam made to be your gods. But didn't you drive out the priest of the Lord, the son of Aaron, and the Levites, and make a priest of honor as the people of other lands do? Whoever comes to consecrate himself with a young bull and 7 rams may become a priest of what are now gods. As for us, the Lord is our God, and we have not forsaken him. The priests who serve the Lord are sons of Aaron, and the Levites assist them. Every morning and evening they present burnt offerings and fragrant incense to the Lord. They set out the bread on the ceremonially clean table, and light the lamps on the gold lamp, and stand every evening. We are observing the requirements of the Lord our God, but you have forsaken me. God is with us, he is our leader. His priests with their trumpets will sound the battle cry against you. Men of Israel, do not fight against the Lord, the God of your fathers, for you have not succeeded. Now Jeroboam had sent troops around Rear, so that while he was in front of Judah, to ambush was behind him. Judah turned and saw that they were being attacked at both front and rear. Then they cried out to the Lord. The priests blew their trumpets, and the men of Judah raised a battle cry. At the sound of their battle cry, God routed Jeroboam and all Israel before Abijah and Judah. The Israelites fled before Judah, and God delivered them into their hands. Abijah and his men inflicted heavy losses on them, so that they were 500,000 calculus among Israel's able men. The men of Israel were subdued on that conclusion. And the men of Judah were victorious because they relied on the Lord and God of their fathers. Abijah pursued Jeroboam and took from him the towns of Bethel, Jeshan, and Ephraim, with their surrounding villages. Jeroboam did not regain power during the time of Abijah, and the Lord struck him down, and he died. But Abijah grew in strength. He married 14 wives and had 22 sons and 16 daughters. The other events of Abijah's reign, what he did and what he said, are written in the annalations of the prophet Iddo. 14. And Abijah rested with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. Asa his son succeeded him as king, and in his days the country was at peace for 10 years. Asa did what was good in the eyes of the Lord his God. He removed the virgin altar and the high places, smashed the scattered stones, and cut down the Asher pole. He commanded Judah to seek the Lord the God of their fathers, and obey his laws and commands. He removed the high place and incense altar in every town in Judah, and the kingdom was at peace under him. He built up the fortified cities of Judah, since the land was at peace. No one was at war with him during those years, for the Lord gave him rest. Let us build up these towns, he said to Judah, and put walls around them. With the towers, gates, and bars, the land is still ours, because we have sought the Lord our God. He sought him, and he has given us the rest on every side. So they built the first. Asa had an army of 300,000 men from Judah, equipped with large shields and with spears, and 280,000 from Benjamin, armed with small shields and with bows. All these were brave fighting men. Joas and Custis marched out against them with the best army, and 300 chariots, and came as far as Marshah. Asa went out to meet him, and they took up battle positions in the valley of Jephthah near Mesha. Then Asa called to the Lord his God and said, Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, O Lord our God, for we rely on you, and in your name we have come against this vast army. O Lord, you are our God. Do not let a man prevail against you. The Lord struck down the Cushites before Asher and Judah. The Cushites fled, and Asher and his army pushed them and far as Gerar. Such a great number of Cushites fell that they could not recover. They were crushed before the Lord and his amount of plunder. They destroyed all the villages around Gezer, for the terror of our Lord had fallen upon them, and they plundered all these villages, since there was much booty there. They also attacked the camps and the herdsmen and carried up droves and sheep and goats and camels. Then they returned to Jerusalem. 15. The Spirit of the God came upon Asa son of Oded. He went out to meet Asa and said to him, Listen to me, Asa, and all the Judah of Benjamin. The Lord is with you when you are with him. If you seek him, he will be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. For a long time Israel was without the true God, without a priest to teach, and without the law. But in their distress they turned to the Lord, the God of Israel. They sought him, and he was found by them. In those days it was not safe to travel about, for all the inhabitants of the land were in great turmoil. One nation was being crushed by another, and one city by another, because God was troubling them with every kind of distress. But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. When Asa heard these words and the prophecy of Asa son of Oded the prophet, he took courage. He removed the stable idols from the whole land of Judah and Benjamin, and from the towns he had captured in the hills of Ephraim. He repaired the altar of the Lord that was in front of the portico of the Lord temple. Then he assembled all Judah and Benjamin and the people from Ephraim, Manasseh and Simeon, who had settled among them, for large numbers had come over to him from Israel when they saw that the Lord his God was with him. They assembled at Jerusalem in the 3rd month of the 15th year of Asa's reign. At that time they sacrificed to the Lord 700 heads of cattle and 7,000 sheep and goats from the plunder they had brought back. They entered into a covenant to seek the Lord, the God of their fathers, with all their hearts and souls. All who would not seek the Lord, the God of Israel, were to be put to death, whether small or great, man or woman. And they took an oath of the Lord with a loud acclamation, with shouting and with trumpets and horns. All Judah rejoiced against the oath, because they had sworn it wholeheartedly. They sought God eagerly, and he was bound by them. So the Lord gave them rest on every side. King Asa also deposed his grandmother, Micah, from her position as queen and mother, because she had made a repulsed red Asher pole. Asa cut the pole down, broke it, and burned it into Kidron Valley. Although he did not remove the high places from the Israel, Asher's heart was fully committed to the Lord all his life. He brought into the temple of the Lord the silver and the gold and the articles that he and his father had dedicated. There was no more war until the 35th year of Asa's reign.